It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're going to be ranking our top point guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM on a tier list. Now, I initially tried to even get more than just these players on this tier list, but they only allowed me to have a little over 50 cards, and so if you don't see, all the cards on this tier list, that is why. But we still got over 50 cards to rank, including most of the best guys in the entire game. Now, as we dive into this a little bit further, if you guys are new to the channel, man, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We are on the road towards 130,000 subscribers. Gilbert Arenas up first. I mean, look, here's the deal with Agent Zero, and I don't even hate Gilbert Arenas, but at this point, if you have him anywhere above C tier, I just gotta question kind of the logic behind it. Gilbert's got a slowish release. He's only I think he's 6'3" in the game, maybe might be 6'4", but either way, not super tall. I just don't think he is that next level of good. Now, am I saying you can't use and have fun with Gilbert Arenas? No, because I used him on the No Money Spent Squad series, and he did some things well for me. But when we're ranking some of these top point guards in the game, B tier is probably the highest you can go, but I'm going to put him at C tier. Derek White up next, A tier. And if I have to move Derek White down, I will. But look, I don't want to move him down. Every opportunity he's had for me, he's taken advantage of it. I mean, from knocking down shots with his great release, to playing great defense, to just doing everything at a really high level. It's just hard for me to not hype up Derek White and just kind of what he's done for not only my No Money Spent account, but just for a lot of everybody else out there. I mean, when you think of budget point guards in my team, I think Derek White's got to be at the top of our list. I mean, how many other budget point guards can do what he can do on the court? Not many. That's why I love and respect Derek White in my team. I think if you have him any lower than, A tier, you're just not giving him credit for how good he's been for each and every one of us budget ballers out there. Allen Iverson up next. I'm going to go B tier with Allen Iverson. I think when I'm looking at it, and I got a choice between Derek White and Allen Iverson, I'm taking Derek White. I do think AI gives you a little bit more than Gilbert Arenas, though. Now, it really just depends on what you're wanting out of the point guard position. Allen Iverson is definitely more fun to use than Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas is taller and could possibly compete a little bit better on that defensive end of the court. So it really just depends between those two guys. Obviously, both cards are relatively good in their own right. I'm going to put AI in B tier. Ben Simmons, I guess I'll go C tier. Here's the deal with Ben Simmons. He's long, he's lengthy, he's going to be a cheese ball on the court. Is he great? Is he a card I'd ever really, use a lot of? Probably not. But again, I do at least respect the card enough to put him at C tier. He's 6'11" at the point guard position. His speed is not horrible. Gonna play good defense. I mean, for that at least, he deserves some respect. I'll put him at C tier. Bradley Beal up next. I mean, he's your ultimate collector level reward. I'm not going to sit here and say Bradley Beal is horrible just because I don't have him and just because I can't, I physically cannot recommend people grinding for him. But is the card horrible? No. You can use Bradley Beal and have a lot of success with the card. I just think it's tough for me when I'm looking at Bradley Beal to think about how much it costs to get him. Because to get him, you don't have to have every card in the game, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's available even if you don't have every card in the game. But it's is he even worth remotely that? No. And that's one thing that really bugs me with the whole collector level process is we need to make collectors worth it. If 2K wants to make the most money possible, collector level needs to be fun again. Back in the day when 2K19 had Galaxy Opal Giannis, basically your first invincible, that was fun. We need something like that again. Cade Cunningham, I'm gonna go S tier. Our first S tier point guard for Cade. Here's the deal. When it comes down to it, Cade's got one of the best, if not the best, point guard release in the entire game. And I wasn't really expecting it because in the past, Cade's release has been, I don't even want to say bad, but it's been on that slower side of things. Been a little bit baited. This Cade Cunningham's release is fantastic. He's 6'7", plays a ton of defense. I was not expecting Cade Cunningham to be this good this year. Yet, he is one of the best point guards in the game, and for 84,000 MT, I think he's a decent value card as well if you are looking for a guy to pick up at the point guard position. Damian Lillard, I'm going to go with C tier as well. Dame, you'll always have a special place in my heart. And maybe it's because I use the Bucks in play now. I don't know, but when I've used Damian Lillard, I've cooked with him offensively, and when I've played against this Damian Lillard card, I've been cooked defensively. And so it's not just, oh, Ty, you're good with Dame. No, other people are good with Dame too. Offensively speaking, there's still not that many better point guards that I'd rather have than Amethyst Damian Lillard. De'Aaron Fox up next. I really do not like this card. I guess I'll throw him at C tier. I just feel like De'Aaron Fox this year isn't great. Now again, that's just me, and when I've played against De'Aaron Fox, I've absolutely flooded the guys I've played against. Am I saying you can't use De'Aaron Fox if you got him out of that equal chance diamond pack? No, you can use him. See if you like him. I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to have a ton of success with De'Aaron Fox in my team. D'Anthony Melton, I mean, he's 6'2", he's just undersized. I don't even totally hate the card, but if you're 6'2" as a Ruby, it's going to be hard to put you ahead of D tier. DeJounte Murray. Now, I think DeJounte is one of the biggest what-if stories, because when this card got released, everybody thought he would be the best point guard in the game. Well, not everybody. Some people thought he'd be the best point guard in the game. And as it stands, what, a week later, week and a half later, nobody is using DeJounte Murray. And I think it just comes down to the sole fact of, you know, how do you fit him in your lineup? How do you fit him in your squad? I just think that's so tough to do, especially with all these other good point guards. Is DeJounte Murray bad? No. Is he a letdown for, you know, being the best point guard in the game? A little bit. And again, this is coming from me. I've never even used DeJounte Murray or played against him. And I've played a ton of Unlimited against a lot of comp. I don't know. Nobody's using DeJounte Murray. I'll throw him at A tier. Dennis Johnson up next. I'm going to throw him in B tier. I do not mind Dennis Johnson at all. He's going to play a lot of defense. Decent release. His 3-ball is a little low, but I just like overall what the card gives you in my team. Not to say he's going to be the best point guard in the game, because I don't even think that, but I do think Dennis Johnson gives you a lot when it comes down to just being an overall solid point guard in my team. Not great, but I think he is deserving of B tier. And so is Donovan Mitchell. Talk about a guy I really like and respect. It's Donovan Mitchell. I want to put him in A tier, but I don't think I can. For the sake of this video, I'm going to leave him in B tier. But trust me, I really do like Donovan Mitchell. Good release, dunks on everybody. And I feel like, yes, he's 6'1", but I feel like his player model is really good in 2K. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm being a Donovan Mitchell stan. I don't know. But I feel like when I've used Donovan Mitchell, his release is super easy to time. It's not super slow. I mean, I'm pretty knocked down with it. I just like him as far as an overall card. And I think if you bought the Pro Pass in Season 2, you got a really solid card. Dwayne Wade up next. I think B tier is as high as I can go. I mean, you could argue A tier because he does play a lot of defense. But when it comes down to this, is Derek White better than Dwayne Wade? I think so. And for that, I mean, it's hard to put Dwayne Wade any higher than B tier. I'm not trying to sit here and hate on Dwayne Wade because I don't mind the card, but I just think Derek White's better. Why? I just think D-Wade's release is a little too slow. People can go under every screen, and if they know how to play against Dwayne Wade, your offense is going to be pretty box. It also puts your whole lineup in a bind, because you can't have Dwayne Wade as your primary ball handler. If you do, you're going to struggle. And then if you don't, like if you run your offense through your shooting guard, well, then your shooting guard's not going to be a great defender probably, and it's going to make things just that little bit tougher. Fred VanVleet up next. I don't like Freddie. Now, again, I've not used Freddie, so, man, I shouldn't even be able to comment on it. What is this card really doing for you on the court? He's 6 feet tall. His release, I don't think, is great. I mean, honestly, somebody tell me what Fred VanVleet is doing on the court for me, and maybe I'll put him higher. For now, he's going at D tier. Gary Payton the Glove up next. At this stage, I got to go C tier, but I don't mind him. I actually really like and respect Gary Payton, but at this stage, I think C tier is where the card belongs. Next up, guys, Isaiah Joe. Now, I know he's got a high 3-ball, but again, if that's all he's doing on the court, I can't put him any higher than D tier. Like, I know he's gonna shoot the ball well, whatever. But if that's the only thing and the best thing he does on the court, and that's it, D tier is where he belongs. Jalen Brunson, I actually don't even hate Jalen Brunson. I'm going to throw him in B tier. You've got to be able to green with him. I played a guy the other day that was running Jalen Brunson. The problem is he couldn't green with the card. Jalen Brunson's release is silky smooth. It's quick. It's tough to contest. But if you're not going to be able to green with Jalen Brunson, you cannot physically run the card. It's just not going to work out for you. But obviously, if you're having success greening with Jalen Brunson, then do what you got to do, man. I think the card can bring you guys a lot of success. James Harden, fear the beard in my team. S tier. Now, with him being at S tier, I gotta say there is a flaw in James Harden. His defense, man. If you're running James Harden, he is offensively one of the best point guards in the entire game, maybe the best and most complete point guard in the entire game. The problem is defensively, he's going to get blown by. He is going to struggle to get you stopped. So just kind of know that's going to happen with James Harden. If you want to run him, that's fine. But just know defensively, he is going to struggle. Ja Morant at this stage, I do think is D tier. I still think Ja can bring you a spark offensively. But just take whatever I said about James Harden defensively times 2 for Ja Morant. He is going to struggle on that defensive end of the court. One thing about Ja, I'm excited to watch him. I mean, he's coming back decently soon in the NBA. Sat out a lot of games. I'm excited to see when he gets back in the league. Jason Kidd up next. I'm going A tier for J Kidd. I think Jason Kidd, and this is me, is one of the most underrated and underappreciated cards in the entire game. There's just not many people talking about him, which I get. If you have Jason Kidd, you've probably got other point guards that are better. So, I mean, because again, you wouldn't just buy Jason Kidd to buy him. So, I get it, right? You know, if you want to buy a card for 84,000 MC, you'd buy Cade Cunningham over him. But if you get Jason Kidd, know you can use him and have success with him. Card defensively is absolutely fantastic. Jason Terry up next. C tier, I just don't see it with Jason Terry. And the fact that you got to grind 40 co-op wins for the card, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. Y'all want me to grind that long for a mediocre Jason Terry card? It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I guess I will grind it for KG, but that card stinks. Jeff Teague up next. D tier. I mean, look. Jeff Teague, podcasting-wise, is absolutely hilarious. But what's not hilarious is how bad he is in 2K. Jeremy Lin up next. I don't think he's that bad, especially when you compare him to a guy, let's say, like De'Aaron Fox. But it's just like, he's just such a letdown. For him being what he is, you basically could buy him outright for this quote-unquote deal. I'm going to put him in D tier. I mean, if you bought Jeremy Lin, all I can say is I'm sorry. D tier is where he belongs. Joe Dumars plays a lot of defense. At this stage, I think is C tier, though. For day one, Joe Dumars was elite, though. I gotta let it be known. Joe Dumars, day one, was absolutely elite. At this stage, though, C tier. John Wall, the tough part is I think he's B tier. And some people really love John Wall, are going to want to put him in A tier. I guess no, I'm going to have to, I got to put him at A tier. I got to. I'm biased against John Wall. When I've used John Wall, he has not brought me a ton of success. I guess I got to throw him at A tier. For that, I'm throwing Dwayne Wade at A tier as well. For me, I like D Wade more than John Wall. And so, I mean, objectively, they both at least got to be at A tier. Hawkins up next. He's not the worst. I'm going to throw him at C tier. Look, I mean, is he a card I recommend you guys pick it up? No, but is he the worst? No, he can hoop a little bit. C, a tier for Hawkins. Jose Calderon up next. Look, he can knock down shots, but that's all he gives you on the court. Decent height for Calderon. I mean, you could put him in C tier. I do think D tier is where he belongs. Kemba Walker, I've not used him, but he's undersized, plays no defense. I'm putting him at D tier. If you want to be higher on Mr. Kemba, do what you got to do. I'm not going to be the one to say you can't be higher than D tier on Kemba Walker. All I can say is, man, he is not a card I'd be excited to get or pick up. Kyrie Irving at this stage, is he A tier or B tier? I think B tier. If I'm going to put Donovan Mitchell at B tier, Kyrie's got to be B tier. And this is the tough part because I don't want to just put everybody at A tier, and there has to eventually be this cutoff point. It just comes to, what do you want that cutoff point to be? And I don't know. I think that's tough. Kyrie Irving, I guess I'll put a B tier, but I love Kyrie Irving. Larry Hughes, I'm also going to put a B tier. Larry Hughes plays so much defense. And I know in the past I have compared him a lot to Dwayne Wade. And I think that's a valid comparison. Who's better between Larry Hughes and Dwayne Wade? I think it's close. D-Wade probably is better because he's going to attack the rim a little bit more. But just know it's not by as much as you guys might think. Both those cards can compete at a very high level. Lonzo Ball up next. For Zoe, I mean, I guess A tier. But I feel bad for Lonzo, right? He came out, I used the card, and then guess who followed Lonzo? All these great point guards. Then we proceed to get Cade Cunningham. Then we get Penny Hardaway. Like, Lonzo was okay for a time, but then 2K decided to drop the best point guards in my team history, and it's just sad, because I would have loved to use Lonzo Ball for a little while at 2K. It's just I couldn't. I tried to use Lonzo as long as I could have, but, I mean, it just came to a point he got surpassed by some other great point guards. Magic Johnson up next. Now, Magic, I think, hey, look, I'm going to go B tier. He's one of the biggest letdowns that we've we've had at the point guard position. When he got introduced, like when he got leaked, everybody's like, uh-oh, it's the beginning of the end. But Magic, because of how bad his release is, this year I just don't ever think is going to be like a great point guard to use. Because like at least with Penny Hardaway, like he's 6'7", plays a lot of defense, but his release is usable. You can't leave him wide open. Magic Johnson, you don't have to guard him. Malcolm Brogdon, I'm putting it F tier. I don't know what it is about his release, but it is borderline unusable. And I think it's his upper, man. His upper just slows the whole thing down. If you can use Malcolm Brogdon, I give you credit. Because I absolutely cannot. And I give anybody that uses that card and has any success with him a lot of credit. Because I cannot do that. Marcus Sasser, I used him in some offline games. I still don't love his release for what he is. Like, he's supposed to be this sharpshooter, whatever. I don't love the card. But I will say this with Marcus Sasser. I will say this. If you time it well, he's got a really extremely high 3-ball, and he won't miss. Mark Price, never used the card. I can't even comment on Mark Price, because, again, I've never used the card. He's 6 feet tall. He's not worth the grind. I'll put him in D tier, because he does have a high 3-ball, but who knows what that release even looks like. Michael Ray Richardson, I'm going to put him in B tier. Michael Ray Richardson is going to get you stops in my team. Yeah, no, he's got to go C tier. As much as I want to put him in B tier when I'm comparing him, no, he's more so like a Gary Payton, like a Joe Dumars than anybody at the B tier. But just know Michael Ray Richardson is not horrible. If you want to use him, you absolutely can, and he can get you stops. Mike Conley, wish you were decent, F tier. It's just his release. His movement is actually really impressive in 2K. Monta Ellis, haven't used him. I'll throw him in C tier. I just don't love a lot of those cards as you level up on your road towards 40. Tiny Archibald, he stinks, F tier. Big O, I guess C tier. He's not horrible, has at least decent height for you on the court. Now we get to the excitement. Penny Hardaway, S tier. In my opinion, the best point guard in the entire game. A lot of people, might want to run some other point guards. Is Penny Hardaway worth the lock-in? I don't think so, but I'm telling you this right now. He is our best point guard in the entire game. Pete Maravich, I do not like you. I'm going to throw you at C tier. I mean, look, he has the Christian Wood base. And when Pete got announced, everybody's like, I even saw DBG tweet, well, Pete's going to be okay. Well, I mean, yes, but the whole thing about Pete, and the reason he's been good in the past is because he's had one of the best releases in the game. It's no more with this Christian Wood base. Reggie Jackson, D tier at this stage. Can't sit there and hype you up. Ron Harper, C tier. I wish they would have made Ron Harper a little better because I would absolutely love to use that card. The problem is they made his offense so bad that he can't play. C tier, where he belongs. Russell Westbrook at this stage, I guess I got to throw him at A tier, but I do not love Russell Westbrook, and I want to make that clear. I mean, I know in my top 100, I might have slandered Russell Westbrook more than I should have, and I apologize for that because he's not that bad. But his release is baited. I just don't see it. Honestly, I like Kyrie more than him. I'm putting him at B tier. I'm sorry. I like Kyrie Irving more than Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's only one spot for SGA. And that is S tier. As I grinded yesterday for Lamar Odom, I found my love for Shai again. Because, a day ago, 2 days ago, I would have said, you know what? I think Cade's better than Shai. Not no more. I mean, Shai just did it to me while I was grinding for Lamar Odom. And I love him and his release. Next up, guys, you see Sean Livingston. C tier. I mean, Sean Livingston, when I did my gameplay with him, didn't miss. He had a 55 3-ball, but his release is so good, and he didn't miss, and I was hyping him up so much, all for me to use him on the no money spent and not be able to knock down shots with him. I think his potential is really high if you can green consistently with him, but I think that's really tough to do. Steph Curry, B tier. As much as I might want to put him higher, he is in B tier. I mean, doesn't play enough defense. Wherever Kyrie is, that's where Steph's got to be. Steve Nash, I mean, let's be honest, the card's not good, D tier. Trae Young, I mean, I'm going to put him at C tier. Look, because of the Trae fade, you've got to at least respect him. I'm not saying he's the best point guard in the game, but with that Trae fade, because, it comes a little cheese, I'm going to throw him at C tier. I kind of like Trae's game a little. Tyler Hero up next, C tier. I'm not going to hype up the card. Tyrese Maxey kind of stinks. I'm going to throw him at D tier. Last, certainly not least, Victor Oladipo. I'm throwing him at C tier. Vic's going to play somewhat defense. Tyrese Maxey, I don't like his relief. Steve Nash, I think is a bona fide scrub. So that's going to wrap it up for my point guard tier list, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe here. Do it as always, man. I love you guys. Have a blessed day.